Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome to Mama Shmoo's Homeschool Reviews, where I share all things here on my channel about homeschool. Today's video, I'm going to focus on my son in kindergarten and give you guys a curriculum check-in, share with you guys what's working, what's not working, how we're using it. In the summer times, I like to share with you guys my curriculum for the whole year, and I really am very gung-ho about it, and I share all the books. So I like to check in with you guys throughout the year and just share with you guys what's going on, where they're at, if they're liking it, if we're still using it, and also just give you an update, because I like to do that a little bit. I haven't been doing monthly updates as much because I feel like sometimes it's too little to share. It's been a couple months since I did a mid-year update to talk about my daughter's and my son's update, so it's about time to do another one, and I figured I would share it with you guys here today. And I will also be doing a video on my daughter's second grade curriculum and give you guys an update on her as well. So if you guys are interested in those type of videos, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and you'll be getting notified when I share my most recent videos. This is the reading lesson. Teach your child to read in 20 easy reading lessons. I've been using this since my daughter was in kindergarten, and now I'm using it for my son. It's working out really well for him. He is on midway of chapter 6, and this is what it looks like. These are the words that he's learning, and these are the stories that he's reading. He is going over the sound of E and EA, and the sound of L and P. I have taught my kids since they were very young, the phonics sounds and everything like that. I use a lot of Leapfrog resources and activities and DVDs and videos, but this is one of the main things that I use to teach them phonics, where we sit on the couch and snuggle together, and I will sit down with them and they'll read this out loud to me. It typically takes 15 minutes. People ask me all the time, how long does it take your kids to do school? How long does it take your kindergartner to do school, or your second grader? And it's hard to pinpoint it. It depends if they have a happy day or a bad day. So I would say typically 15 minutes. It all depends on the day, like I said, and how their mood is. So we really have been enjoying reading lessons. Like I said, my daughter used it for her kindergarten, and she learned to read. She got up to chapter 9 and she started reading books on her own, so we stopped it. So he's at chapter 6, so he might kind of follow in her shoes. I thought they would be totally different, but they're reading around the same time as, he's reading around the same time as my daughter did in kindergarten. So it's kind of interesting how that's working out. I thought it would be opposite. He's also reading readers now, since his reading is getting a little bit better, and he's using the readers that we've used for my daughter, which is Starfall. And this is just a set of 15 phonics books that I'll try to link down below if you want to check it out. And he's read books 1 through 5, like Zach the Rat, Gus the Duck, and these are characters that you find on starfall.com. So if you're familiar with abcmouse.com, it's kind of like that, but it's a little bit less expensive. I think it's $35 a year. We are not subscribed to it, but I want to get into it for the summer because my kids like it. They learn math and language, and there's less activities for finding a dog and buying a dog and feeding your dog and changing your clothes and buying stuff. I feel like that's a distraction. I think instead of learning, I feel like my kids were doing that on ABC Mouse more. So this one I like a little bit better. So starfall.com readers, I'll try to link it down below. And then this is another little set I got from when my daughter was in kindergarten from Bookshark, called Fun Tales. And there's 25 little books. They're so small, very small stories. And they progress pretty quickly because it's 1 through 25. So the 25 is harder, and the first book is easy. So I really like it. They have animals on the back that they talk about, a little photograph, and they have lots of facts about the animals, and then they have a story about the animal. So it's really nice. It's black and white, so if your kids are not into color, or if it distracts them from reading, this is good. Just like Bob books. Bob books are good as well. I'll try to link those down below if you are interested. And then the other thing I do with my son for phonics, to review his spelling and to help him learn to read and his vocabulary, would be Explode the Code. Everybody knows, if you're familiar with my channel, I am obsessed with Explode the Code. I know that they have lots of things online for PDFs that you could buy. I do prefer having the actual hard copy for my kids, so thank you guys so much for everybody emails me and tells me that they can send me the PDFs, but I like having the books. We did Explode the Code 1 at the beginning of the year, and then he finished it, so now he's doing 1.5. The reason being, I didn't want him to go to Explode the Code 2. I just wanted him to just continue to review what we learned in Explode the Code 1. He's in kindergarten, and then I thought maybe when he finishes this, maybe sometime in the summer or the beginning of the year, he could do Explode the Code 2. I just didn't want to I don't know. I didn't want to go ahead of where he was at. I thought Explode the Code 1 was perfect for him. So we are really enjoying this, and there's lots of great things that he's learning. He's learning how to like write an actual sentence, which is really cool. And he reads a lot in here. So if there are times, okay, let me show you really quickly what I mean. If there are things that he's reading, for instance, if I could find it. Oh yeah. So this page right here, there's 14 sentences. So if he's reading 14 sentences and checking the box that goes along with the picture, I do not have him do the reading lesson if it's too much for him. On the days that he's into wanting to do school and stuff, I will do both of them. But if he reads like 14 sentences in here, I will just skip the reading lesson for him. We typically do Explode the Code and reading lessons 3 to 4 times a week. We try to. I'm not like very rigid and structured about his curriculum and when he does it and how much he needs to do, and I don't like get really caught up in checking things off. But I like to keep it consistent for him and for me because it's easier to learn phonics and reading if you're consistent with it. That's the only tip I would give you guys is if you're going to start a program and they're ready for it, just to keep it consistent. But you don't have to do it every single day. They're in kindergarten, you can relax. It's not that it's not like they have to do school every single day, but I like to keep it to 3 to 4 times a week so we stick to it. And my daughter and my son, they like routine. And then the Good and the Beautiful, he does level 1 handwriting because the kindergarten book at the time only was able to print it off on the computer and I was too lazy. I wanted them to make me a little booklet, so we went with the level 1, and it's super easy. Like they're just like tracing and making their own letters, and then they draw at the bottom or color at the bottom, and he likes it. I wouldn't say it's his favorite in the whole entire world, but it's just a handwriting program, so we like it for what it is. It's just handwriting. We don't always typically do this every day. We do this maybe for him, like it's getting to the point where he does it maybe once a week or twice a week. The days that we don't do it and he gets bored of doing that, he likes to pull out his like Paw Patrol, like Dollar Spot handwriting, where they literally just where he makes like his R's or his L's or his M's, and he just like does his handwriting. And lately he's been getting into copy work, which is really early, I think, for a kindergartner to do copy work, but he sees his sister do it. So if we are learning a certain subject at our co-op, usually my second grader writes a paper on it, and then the next week they talk about it. So he wants to be involved in that. So I will like write a fact down for him. And the other day, he wrote like 1 starfish can eat 12 clams a day, and I had him copy it, and then he actually drew the starfish. So he'll show the co-op class his picture, and then his sister will read the sentence for them, because he might not be able to feel comfortable reading it as of yet. Maybe next year he will. But so copy work for a kindergartner could be as easy as I saw a dog on the road, and you could have them just copy it, and then they could practice their handwriting. But like I said, I don't know if it's typical of a kindergartner to do it or not. It's just something he sees his sister doing. So I think it's really, really good that he wants to do that. So I'm not gonna stop that. I think it's a good thing. As far as his math goes, we are still continuing on with BJU. I've done so much research with math, and I really feel comfortable with BJU. I think it's a really great layout and a format. I love the scope and sequence. I like how they learn spiral. It's not like a mastery math curriculum like Math UC where you have to master it before you can move on to the next. It's basically going through different concepts every chapter, and then they review it at the end of the chapter. There's 22 chapters in here. He's pretty much almost done. I mean, there's only a few chapters left. He goes through it really, really quickly. I feel like kindergarten K5 is a little simple for him, but like I've done with my daughter in the past, I don't like to skip through all the chapters that are too easy for them, because I think review and repetition is good, and I like to make sure that they have a strong foundation. I mean, there's no reason to race through a book and skip things if it's not necessary, unless it's like so easy that you should just move on to first grade math. But I thought first grade would be a little too difficult for him for kindergarten. So we are pretty much done with K5. He is learning right now his numbers 40 through 100, like writing them down and identifying the numbers. and simple fractions with equal parts and whole by looking at pies and fruits, and they have a really fun way of teaching. But this is a open and go book for K-5. You don't need a teacher guide, I don't think, until probably 3rd or 4th grade. I would say 3rd grade. For the 2nd grade, someone asked me the other day, I didn't use the teacher guide for the 2nd grade either, and we're fine. You just open and go and you just teach the concept, and hopefully you understand it. If not, then yeah, I would suggest the teacher guide if you're not understanding. Like, there's different ways that they teach math nowadays, so it's different formulas, the way they teach things. I know a lot of parents are like, why are they changing the way they teach math? I know it's different now. The kids that go to school, a lot of my friends are like, they're teaching the kids how to do this a totally different way. What style is it? Singapore. They're teaching the ways of adding and doing things. Singapore math is a different concept for our generation, so sometimes I know parents get frustrated. So they do teach a few things a little differently, but I could finally grasp onto why they do it because it makes sense visually to some of the kids, so I really appreciate the way they teach. But yeah, he's been learning fractions, calendar math, and just really basic, like telling the time, like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. This is Math Practice by Evan Moore Daily Math, and they're very short little lessons that my daughter was doing, and she only did a little bit out of this book. I think I have 2 of these books, but he is working on this with me, so if the K-5 is a little easy and we get through it really quickly, I will do a lesson in here. And these are a little more challenging because it's 1st grade, so we will bring out the Unifix cubes or abacus, or we'll write it down on the chalkboard to make it more interesting, and we'll do more hands-on math. And then as far as our calendar time, we just buy a simple calendar. This was actually a calendar from my husband's coworker, but you can buy a Dollar Tree calendar. That's what we did last year. And he basically just follows the calendar dates and puts stickers on them. It's fun for him. We do this like once or twice a week, I would say. Maybe once or twice a week, yeah. And he'll just check off the date. I'll tell him what day it is. We'll talk about today. We'll talk about yesterday. We'll talk about tomorrow. And then if there's any classes or things that he's looking forward to, like a birthday or a basketball class, I will put it on the calendar. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about how many days it is till they have to go to the class or till the birthday is. And it just gives them like a really fun thing to look forward to in the week. And so, yeah, that is what we do for calendar. It's very simple, very cheap. Go to the Dollar Tree and get a calendar and teach your kids the days of the week. We also learn the Spanish days of the week. I think they're in here as well. Yeah, they have the Spanish and English on this one, but it's really simple. I don't spend too much time working on calendar. When I first started homeschooling, I had a calendar on the wall with Velcro, and I made it, and it was so cool. But I ended up doing all of the work. The kids never did anything. So I would suggest just getting a calendar and working on it with them a couple times out of the week. So that is what he does for language and math. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already been 16 minutes, but as far as all the other subjects that he does that I don't really require him to do, but we just naturally, do it in our household with my 2nd grader. He is involved with listening to the read out louds because we do the read out louds during lunch. So he listens to chapter books. And then also that's where he gets his literature in. But I like to read picture books to him that he's interested in. So when we go to the library, I'll have him get books that he's interested in, like basketball or Legos or Star Wars, and we'll read those out loud. I like to do that at nighttime, where right before we go to bed, I'll read a book to him, and maybe my daughter will be reading her book independently in her room. And so that's the time that I like to spend with him. Or maybe in the morning times after we do our morning basket, I will pick a book out for him to read. So that is what I like to do because he's still in kindergarten. He doesn't have to necessarily listen to all of the chapter books, but he really does like it. So as far as science and STEM and things like that are more hands-on, he does that at our co-op once a week. So he's involved with doing experiments. He also has a little phonics class that he does that he's involved with, so they teach that once a week. And then we do unit studies throughout the year where we focus on science maybe or geography. So we do that type of learning in our homeschool where it's like a group study with my daughter and my son. So he is learning lots of different things that way. And then in our morning baskets, we do electives. So he will be along for the ride when we read in the morning. And so he listens to the Bible and he listens to poetry and he memorizes nursery rhymes and he'll read those when we do poetry tea time. So they're very simple things that he is involved with, and it's just something that he naturally does with us because we're all at the breakfast table doing these things. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel. I love chatting with you guys here. If you have any questions about the curriculum that I showed, Try Googling or try searching on YouTube some of my reviews. I will try to list the links down below for you guys. Thank you so much for all your support, all of your comments, all of your likes. I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys in my next video.